Hey everybody. So my fiance and I, we just got back from Hawaii. We were on the island of Kauai, and while we were there, we visited some of her family and a family friend. And the family friend, his name is Bill. While we were there, he bought us really nice dinners and appetizers and drinks, and everything was always on his bill. So would never let us pay for anything. So I thought when I come home, I'm gonna, try to make a little gift for him to show our appreciation. So I went and bought some of this Wingay, and I'm gonna use some Paduke, and I've already glued this up. This was just a 3" by 24" by 1/4" piece of Paduke, and I cut it down and glued it up already. This is going to be the bottom of the keepsake box, and this is probably going to be the lid. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to design the top of the box yet, but anyway, I'm going to use this Paduke and mix it with this Wingay and see how this keepsake box turns out. So for now, first thing I'm going to do is, this is dried overnight. It's actually been drying for 2 days now. It was clamped up. I just took it out of the clamps. So I'm going to thin this down into planer, get it flat. I'm going to plane down some of this Wingay. It's 3/4 inch thick. I hate to plane it down and ruin this, expensive piece of wood, but my bandsaw doesn't really resaw very well. It always drifts, and I've adjusted it. I've watched all the videos on how to adjust it. I think it's just because it's a 1/2 inch blade. It just doesn't resaw very well. So I'm not even going to try that and end up ruining this board. So I'm just going to plane it down just a little bit, just to take some of the thickness out of it. And I'm going to plane down these pieces of Paduke, and we'll go from there. So I planed this down to about 5/8. I think it's thicker than what I need it to be, but I think 5/8 will be fine. So, I got the Paduke, the top and the bottom. Those are plain flat. So I'll need to. So now I'm gonna cut the groove. Go ahead and cut the groove in the bottom of the box, or the bottom of the sides actually. For the bottom to slide in. So I'm going to cut a little dado in here and get that to fit right. So this is 5/8 inches thick, so I think I'll just do the dado at about 1/4 inch. That should be plenty. Let's see, let's do 3/8. We'll do 3/8 instead. There we go. And I've already jointed both sides of this, so I know there's no cupping in this, and the edges are already straight. So what I'll do now is I'll just put a spacer in here at 1/4 inch. I'll just use this because this is pretty much 1/4. That'll put my box in a good place. So decide which one I want to use the bottom for. I really like this figuring in here, and I want to be able to show that as much as I can. So I'm going to put the bottom on this side. So when you're cutting Wingay, first of all, I think I'm pronouncing it right. When you're cutting this stuff, you're supposed to wear a mask because the dust is really bad for you, what they say. And I should have put a mask on, but I forgot, so I didn't put one on. So I think that's gonna work pretty good. Yeah, that's a nice fit. This should look good. I think the combination is gonna really look nice. You can see that in this terrible lighting, but that'll look really good. So now I'm just gonna miter the corners. I want to be sure and make sure we know which side is which. Use my pencil. Right, this is the top. Use my digital angle finder. Reset this at 0. Now put it on the blade. Perfect. 45. I was really hoping to keep the grain continuous, but without being able to resaw it and book match it, open it up, then that's going to be tough to do. So I'm just not going to worry with that. So now I have my two 9-inch pieces, and I'm going to make it 5 inches deep. So I'll cut those now. So now I'm just going to try to grain match this as best I can. Get rid of this stuff. Ooh, scared me. This is a piece of scrap. I thought I cut it backwards, but it's scrap. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I really like that, but this. That doesn't look bad. That's not terrible. What's this look like? Yeah, I mean, I think that'll go together pretty well. So cool. All right, so we'll do it just like this. Let me just at least label these. So I'll know. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure they're all oriented correctly with the groove. You got to make sure the groove is on the bottom. Otherwise, if you cut it backwards, the groove will be on the top, and then it doesn't work. Just getting this taped up so I can flip it over So when I do the glue up, I can flip this over and put it all together, and the tape will hold it together. So it'll hold together this way. Nice. Just checking for square. I'll have to do a little tweaking to get it square, I think. So this is 3.5 on the inside. So if I do it at 4 inches, I'll take a 1/16 off of it. So I'll do 3 15/16. So the width, 3 15/16, and the length, that'll be, it's like 7 5/16. First thing I need to do is square up these 2 sides. That way I can rip the other side down. Alright, so I have the length cut, so now I need 3 15/16 wide, but I don't want to just rip it down there. I want, because this was glued together, so there's a joint here, so I want that joint to be in the middle because it's probably still going to be a little noticeable. Maybe not, but if it is, I want it to be in the center. So so it's nice and square. At least 2 sides are square. So now I'll measure from this side, because this is the square side, flat side. I'll measure that, and then I'll cut the 3 15/16 wide. So I thought it slipped on me on that previous cut. So now it's right. Put some pencil lines on it. So you do pencil lines, and that way you know what you've sanded and what you've missed. So it's a good way to keep sanding even. 220. Actually, I'm going to raise the grain first, spray it with some water. We'll dry it off. So the water causes the grain to rise, and that way you can sand that off. And you may have to do it a couple of times, but not for a box. You really don't. So for this box, just raise the grain one time, and then sand it down to 220, and then it'll be pretty smooth. Plenty smooth for a keepsake box. So I need to let that dry before I can continue. So my strap just broke, so I got to break this one out. I guess I should go ahead and do the same here. So I'm not trying to dry it off, I'm just wiping off the excess. I'll let it air dry for a little while. And then I'll come back and glue it up. I think that's good for now. So this is already drying, so it won't take long. So I went ahead and trimmed the lid. I put a bevel on it, 15-degree bevel around all four sides to get the lid at some shape. So today I'm going to use the spline jig that I just made, so I'm excited to use that. And I'm going to put splines in. I'm going to use Paduke splines to put in there. And so now I'm going to use the jig. I've already got it set up, ready to go. And we'll see how this works out. So I got all three in there. As you can see, this thing is brand new and it was working perfectly until I turned the camera on. It was sliding smooth and everything. So obviously I'm gonna have to tweak. I'm probably gonna have to send the miter bar down a little bit or something. It needs some tweaking, but it still got the job done. I had to fight a little bit, but it got the job done. So now I'll cut the splines, and I'm going to use Paduke splines to match these. I'll cut the splines and I'll install those in there. So there's the lid. How about that? So now I will, actually it's the first time I've been able to see the inside. Looks good. So now I will grab some Padauk. I don't have any, but I'm gonna line the insides. I gotta go to the store and get some wood. I gotta line the insides with Padauk. So that'll be next. So I went ahead and did some work on the box. I put the Padauk lining inside. I just took some 1/4 inch Padauk. Actually, it was 3/8 Padauk. Planed it down to just under 1/4 inch, and then trimmed it to fit inside the liner. Then I glued that inside. After that, I installed the hinges. You see the hinges there, and I put this little latch on the front. So I kind of got ahead of myself and just forgot to video it, but yeah, it's pretty simple stuff there. But I think it turned out pretty nice. So I've already sanded it. I sanded it, started at 80, and I'm going to sand it to 120. I took some water, sprayed it down to raise the grain a little bit. So now I'm going to sand it to 220. 220 will probably be it. And then once I get that sanded down, I'm going to coat it with Danish oil. So I've sanded it down to 220 and wiped it down with a tack cloth. I realize the hinges and hardware is on there, but I'm only putting Danish oil on there, so it'll wipe off easily. I don't want to go through the trouble taping that up. I think it's too much trouble. Or taking it off. Run the risk of putting something on wrong or stripping a screw or something like that. So it's on there. It's good and secure, so I'm going to leave it where it is. So for this, I'm using Watco Danish oil. And I'll put a couple of coats on, but I'll do one coat, let it dry, and then I may sand it down to 320 after it dries, and then put the second coat on. We'll see how it goes. I love the way this Danish oil makes this grain really shine. Looks wonderful. This stuff goes on really easy. Just wipe on, and it spreads so easily. It gets down into the cracks fairly well without having to use anything special. This is really turning out pretty sweet. couldn't decide if I was going to use a spray lacquer or some other finish, but I think I'm pretty happy with the Danish oil. Looks really good. That's not helping very much. Man, I love that. So I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm kind of bummed because I messed up putting the hardware on. As if you can see, I'll show you in just 1 second and I'll tell you how I messed up. It really stinks too, because I was really looking forward to, if you can see this grain pattern on here. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera or not, but this little like curly grain, that was intended to be the front of the box. And then last night I was sitting at the coffee table and I decided to put the hinges on. So I put the hinges on, and dadgummit if I didn't put the hinges on the wrong side. And at that point there was really no turning back. So now really the best side is going to be on the back, which kind of stinks. So, but the front side, I mean, it looks good, looks really good, but it doesn't look anything like this. I mean, this is just beautiful. And I really wanted that to be the front of the box, but you know, after screwing that up, it was really too late to try to start over. I didn't want to patch the holes, and then that wouldn't look good, I'm sure. So there was just really no point. So now it's the back. I ran out of foam brushes. I might have used a foam brush if I had any, but I ran out of them. So really this was my only option. I probably should have put gloves on too. I just forgot. So, but you know, I think this is working out pretty well. So we'll let this dry, and after it sets in, I will likely go over it with 320 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna wipe some of the excess off. I'll probably go over it with some 320 sandpaper and just hit it one more time with the Danish oil. But man, it really looks good. I'm so happy with this box. Again, this is Wingate and Paduke. And man, I just love it. It's beautiful. Uh-oh, I forgot a side. Oops. I wonder if y'all noticed that when you were watching the video. All four of you. Alright, so I think I have everything now. We'll see. I'm sure I'll find something missing. But this just looks amazing. And it's super slick. I mean, it is slick as glass already. I can't imagine if I sand it down to 320, you wouldn't be able to hold this thing. It'll slip out of your hands. Check this out. Isn't that pretty? Man, I love it. I don't want to give it away. I want to keep it for myself. I hope Bill enjoys it as much as I have, because it's been fun to build. It was fun. The exciting part was going to pick out the wood, and then you know, from there on out, it was just a whole lot of fun. You know, trying to decide how I was going to make the lid, and just really design everything. It was kind of just a figure it out as you go kind of thing. It really looks good. I am so happy with that. But I am bummed that this isn't the front, but oh well, too late now. So there we have it.